Pull up your pants, you little ghetto hooligan.
It's about the love change. Do it with some soul and a little love change. Yeah, it's about the love change. Do it with some soul and a little love change. You can't make a change unless you got the love change. Do it with some soul and a little love change. You can't make a change unless you got some love change. Do it with some soul and a little love change. We started from the bottom, talking about the roots. Every time I'm in the booth, I gotta shoot the truth. My art is my art.
Hello, our little hooligans. Welcome back to episode 11 of the Boondocks Podcast, where we are covering the episode Let's Nab Oprah. And I'll hit you with the HBO Max synopsis, which is Huey has to stop Riley and a small gang of misfit idiots from nabbing the talk show deity, Oprah. Woo.
Hallowed be her name.
Sign of the cross.
I don't know the who. I am not an Oprah fan at all.
You know, honestly, I'm not a huge Oprah fan. I actually I kind of was like, Dean, is she even still relevant? Like, is that a thing? And so we had to look it up after we were watching this episode because I genuinely can't remember the last thing I heard from her that was actually influential.
There was a while when, and I was on that train a little bit too. Now, I'm not a huge Oprah fan either. I don't hate her. Like, I know people who do not like Oprah, and she's fake. So I understand why. But when people were like, Oprah for president, that was like the last big. Oh, and then the Michael Jackson molestation stuff. Like, she had a big hand in all of that too, which I do believe is now being debated as highly potentially.
It's
yeah. That's what I thought. I've never ever been a fan. I didn't get it. You know, growing up, I'd be like, Mom, what is this lady? You know, who has and who dressed horribly. You know, when she was bigger before she finally
got money.
Whatever she's done,
she got money,
more money, exactly. Yeah, before more money. And I'm just like, what does this chick have? Like, what's going on here? I didn't like that she, you know, all her winners on her show, all the people that she ever really highlighted, they were not people of color.
Yep, absolutely.
You know, teachers that you brought in to give, you know, thousands of dollars to, they were never people of color.
Never from bad neighborhoods and poor schools.
No,
yep.
No. The whole, I'm opening a school in Africa. Girl, there's schools that need to be opened here, like in your town, in Chicago. Yeah. And then, I mean, somebody that could write a check to buy her own, multi- you know, acre mansion in where she lived, Malibu or Santa Barbara, ballin'. Can respect her for that. I would love to be able to write a check as well. But other than that,
yeah.
I petty to say I'm waiting for Gail or for somebody else to just start telling her secrets or something.
Oh, you know, I've always wondered. I mean, it's like that thing in history when historians will find artifacts of two women who died in bed together and they're like, oh, these best friends. That's what I've always felt with Oprah and Gail. And there's nothing wrong. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with being a lesbian. Just be a lesbian with your best friend. That's awesome that you found love. Or maybe it's not true, but I don't know. After 30 years of seeing those two together more than whatever. What's her?
Her and Steadman.
Steadman.
Yeah,
that's
Steadman.
the name. Yeah.
Her kept, beard.
I mean, she's a billionaire, so...
yeah, and he is very well kept. I haven't seen him or heard anything about him since she's kind of taken a step down, at least from the show not being on. But she still has her hand in stuff. Like you said, the Michael Jackson thing. And, what the hell is her channel called?
Oxygen.
OWN.
Yeah. Oprah Winfrey Network.
Yeah.
Yeah, I watch forensic stuff on that sometimes. Anyway.
Yeah.
Can we please make a Steadman a thing now? You see a man with a beautiful beard, you're like, well, check out his Steadman.
I know, right?
I like it.
Somebody who is just coiffed just so perfectly and just Looks like he like drew on his lineup with a freaking stencil or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's
a good one. We should start that. And then everybody will be like, well, what's up really with Steadman? You know how nosy everybody is going into 2021. So somebody who just sits at home all day will do some digging and find something.
I started giggling when I didn't mean to earlier because we started right in on something right from the episode instead of actually doing our normal, what the hell is happening in the world?
I know. Look at that.
But it was too perfect. In fact, I had actually, I had the quote about Oprah ready to talk about Oprah and if she was still an influencer. We don't need to play that. But it was just so funny that was the first thing that we all talked about.
You see the passion that she invokes.
Oh, Dean wants to play it. Okay, we're going to play it.
Oprah Winfrey taps directly into the emotions, beliefs, buying habits, and summer reading patterns of billions of women all over the world. Oprah Winfrey has the power to lay waste an entire industry with a mere utterance. She's a completely invincible, unstoppable force of nature, and with her under our control, nobody will be able to stop us.
So when this episode came out, Oprah was probably considered one of the most, if not the most, influential people in the world. Not just, she'd always been on that list of influential Black women or whatever, but when I don't remember, but her show is at the peak of popularity and, her fucking face is everywhere when this episode came out. So I can see why why Magruder picked Oprah to be the the what? Spotlight? No. Never mind.
No, I totally get what you're saying. I'm trying to think of the word too, the just omnipotent, being that is just so perfect in all every way. And there's a lot of fault to her, but I think her power and media and money, all those things added up. It really helped her to kind of, skate by some bullshit. But it's funny that everything that he said is how I'll compare. Okay. So I think if he did this episode today, it'd be like a Beyonce. That's who the character would be that they would potentially nab, because Beyonce is that, that enigma, and I don't know why.
A little bit different though. Oprah appealed to, she was the nice Black lady that white ladies could be okay with, and that's kind of how she grew her brand. Whereas Beyonce, Beyonce when she started was very much pop culture, whatever, I'm cute.
Yeah.
And then she was like, fuck you, I'm Black, now listen to what I have to say. Oprah has never done shit like that except when she would star in a movie about something like that. She's never really talked about the really heavy stuff unless she was the center of attention in a story about her life or something.
Yeah, no, it's very true. And I can't even think about her using her platform. I'm sure she had a billion shows. So,
I
don't need any Oprah Mite or whatever you guys call yourself. Oprah, whatever you guys call yourself. I don't need you guys to hit me up and be like, it was this episode. She did address that. I don't know. But I don't remember her using her platform for any major, civil issues or social issues that didn't have to do mainly around making white people feel comfortable.
Mm-hmm. And to be honest with you guys, I feel that actually is the similarity between Oprah and Beyonce, right? So Oprah was this pinnacle of Black excellence, not by our means, by societal means, because of that appeal to white people and the fact that she was a safe Black person. I feel like Beyonce, how MJ was just saying, and I don't know why, I feel like Beyonce actually, whenever people try to do impressions of her or be funny, it never is, because nobody really knows who the fuck Beyonce is.
Yes.
I think that is intentional. I think it is because she doesn't want to be this unsafe Black person. Which, MJ was just saying, or Tiara was just saying, when she kind of comes out and makes these political statements, or she'll do a song that's really kind of hinting at her beliefs. But she's not going to get out here and be like, oh, hey, Rihanna, my nigga. She's not going to do it. She's I'm going to play it safe.
In my head, I was like, she's no Erykah Badu who's going to sleep with Black men and make them actually Black men in her eyes.
Maybe. I mean, she's
Sorry,
been very. No,
had that
no.
conversation a couple times this week.
No, that's funny. She's Beyonce's very intentional, and I feel like these are some things that I've made the argument about why I'm not a fan, or why I don't think that she should be heralded as much as Black people do. Like, first of all, she's not like, her and Jay-Z are not a Ruby D and Ozzie Davis.
No, definitely
You know what I'm saying?
not.
They're not a Michelle and they're and a Barack, but for some reason they are held up at those same high standards, and that drives me nuts. There's that, she did not even graduate high school. She didn't even get her GED until the first baby was like on her second birthday or something like that. Come on. You're telling me that all that time that you were traveling and on the road, you couldn't have had some, tutor, somebody there. You couldn't have gotten your GED way prior to that.
It obviously wasn't important to her mother, who was her momager for most of her growing up.
Her dad. I mean, she
Both
was
of
like,
them.
the mom was like off on the side, but the dad was really the one that controlled like everything.
Either
which
way,
is
they
why
didn't
to
think
this day they don't
education was
talk.
important.
No, not at all. I mean, I believe that. Yeah, I'm with that. If you've heard her ever really speak, like if you go back and kind of look at Beyonce or hear any kind of her, interviews before, she is not well spoken. Okay. Like, I get that you're from Houston, girl, but there are things that make words and sentences, make more sense and actually work together. These things that you link together, and then that is your final thought. So there's that. And then also, I don't like how, and I know you have to do it for Hollywood standards, but I don't like how it seemed like she did the whole J-Lo thing. So I'm going to get popular. I'm going to look a certain way. I'm going to sing certain music so that I can grasp this part of the audience. And then I'm going to go ahead and just jump into my full Blackness. That's what she did to me.
I would say that J-Lo kind of did her Latina heritage before she appealed to the white people. I mean, Selena was what really kind of made her a thing at least in my environment. Like, I didn't really know her before that.
A lot of Latinas and or people that are Latinx, they don't like her in that role because she was not really Mexican, because she's Puerto Rican. So they didn't want her to play that. I think that she got the white people when she dated Ben Affleck. Everybody that she's dated,
she already had the white people by then. She was like
because she had just gotten done with Diddy. She
dated, yeah, she did. But by the time she dated Ben Affleck, she had been in a dozen movies by that point. Like, she made a name for herself outside of the person that she dated. It was almost like. Yeah. Because what's the one with?
That's normally not like the conversation is like she's gone from man to man, or whatever man she's gone from. That's the like corner of the market that she was trying to get. She got with Mark Anthony, who I call freaking Skeletor. She got with him because she wanted to then be able to be like, hey guys, I can do I can sing in Spanish, and let me come over here and have some beautiful, Puerto Rican babies. Oh, let me hold up a flag. Pitbull, yay. She was hella black with Puffy. Hella black. Jenny from the Block. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, come on. You did a song with freaking Stinky Breath Ja Rule. Like, there's just Ja Rule looks like he has the worst breath ever in life. Good Lord. Still to this. Oh my God. Every time I hear murder, I feel like it's just like, it's like you see the onions and like, anyways. But no, so same kind of thing I'm saying is that, I think that a lot of her life, Beyonce's life was definitely staged and planned. And to me, I just don't see how somebody can say that she's like the best performer ever, better than Michael Jackson, which is just blasphemy. She's very similar to Janet Jackson to me. Janet Jackson was and still is my all-time favorite. Janet can't sing. Let's admit it. Janet's a performer. Janet had the dancing. Janet had the look and everything. But ask Janet to hit a note on her own. It's going to be a little rough. And I'm just admitting this was somebody who's now been, who's sang and who's studied and whatnot. Love it or death, but she more cooed. She more, hit that high falsetto. But she was never going to be like, let's have Janet sing a freaking opera. Cause she can, she can do all that.
Right.
I just feel like we're a little more realistic, I think, with our celebrities and those that we kind of looked up to than what people are now. But That's my soapbox. I've like knocked down so many fans. Beyonce people are gonna just test me now. Oprah mites are going to come after me, so
I just
I'm ready.
just for clarity's sake, I want to say
Bring it on.
about J-Lo. I remember her in Money Train, which was in '95, which was almost 10 years before she was with Ben Affleck. She was also in Selena, in Anaconda, in U-Turn, in Out of Sight. She voiced a character in Ants, and all of that was before she was with Ben Affleck. That was still in the 90s. So she made a huge name for herself before she started dating Ben Affleck. She made a name for herself. She when she was dating Puffy, when she was dating Puffy, that was when she kind of broke out more. And probably because she was trying to be black, but she wasn't. And white people were like, ooh, safe entertainment. That's black entertainment. So kind of like that same thing we were saying with Beyonce is safe for white people because she's challenging, but not too challenging. You know?
Yeah. I mean, she makes songs like Single Ladies, which is garbage.
It's a great burlesque song though. I have seen a really great burlesque act to that.
I mean, I don't want to be in a club or at a wedding and see everybody trying to imitate the video. You're not in the video. The dance moves, stop it.
Well, that's kind of the nature of pop music. If they can get a hook and a dance, they're gonna do it, even if it's a shitty ass thing.
True. And just like those songs, I can't stand them. Flo Rida, he is the worst rapper ever in history. And what does he do? Have songs that everybody jumps around. Like, yeah, that's just me. That's a whole nother thing. But, I mean, I don't see people trying to dance to Britney Spears. Like, and she's definitely pop.
Not anymore.
I've never been anywhere where I see people trying to break out in the
10 years ago.
routines.
When we were DJing 10 years ago, especially in any function that had gays at, you heard it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I did say, okay. Well, that goes without saying. I'm saying if I'm out.
Yeah, but
at the
she's
club,
not doing it now. She's not making music now, though, because she's in a fight with her fucking father so that she can have.
Well, poor thing. She shouldn't.
It's fucking. Actually, I do think conservatorship was changed. She is 40, isn't she? She's 39. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes,
well, 40. Yeah.
Anyway,
poor thing. I mean, I don't know. I love Britney.
Hashtag free Britney.
Her show, like I was all like, Vegas, give her a show back again, because it felt like that's when she was okay. Mm-hmm. But it might have been too much, actually.
I just thought of something kind of interesting. When we talk about Beyonce, she was basically raised to be this person that she is right now.
Oh yeah.
I think Britney was raised to be the person that Beyonce was, but Britney decided she'd had enough, shaved her head, had a mental health issue because she didn't want people to control her anymore.
Yeah.
And well, we all know the rest. But I feel like that's that same trajectory they were on. And just one of them was like, I can't do this anymore. And one of them's like, I don't have any personality outside of this, so I'm just going to keep doing it.
That or just being told that was like her destiny and I truly believe that she is meant to be Beyonce. Like, I just really can't see, and I hate,
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Don't really like her.
Raised to be that.
I think that's her. I really think that universally though, like that's her purpose. Like her purpose is to be an entertainer, and that I think so. And overall, I think we all have our purpose. We all have what we're supposed to do. We're all puzzle pieces in this huge universe. So I think that is, I think that's her purpose in life.
I think that there is absolutely no way that we could know what could have happened if she'd had different parents that didn't basically push her into fame at a young age and keep pushing her and never let her get out of it and keep pushing her and keep pushing her and keep pushing her.
Well, I don't know if we know that she ever wanted to get out of it though. I can
honestly say when I was a kid, there was nobody who would ever think that I would have been a teacher. I can tell you that 100%. And I kind of have to say this because I had this rant earlier that I went on Twitter and then ended up deleting it because of a spelling error. But it was basically about, and I know it's a personal thing. It's broadly connected, so it's not against anyone in particular. But as a girl growing up with autism and not knowing it and not having the people around me knowing it, I was seen and put into a particular box and kind of raised that way. And it wasn't until I was much older and able to really kind of process all of that before I started on a completely different path from when I started. I wanted to work with kids with severe disabilities. I wanted to work with kids with hydrocephalus and cerebral palsy and, medically fragile kids. And now I work with traumatized kids who are one step out of juvie, or sometimes just getting out of juvie, or sometimes in a group home because they're suicidal or violent or, whatever. Like, that's a huge difference from, so I don't know. When I hear the meant to be thing, it kind of worries me because so many of us are influenced too much by our parents, and we follow, again, no offense, mom out there. I'm not saying you did this, but our parents will push their thoughts and ideals on us. And if we don't have a strong enough ego of our own, a strong enough core understanding, we're gonna, people who are, in my opinion, who are celebrities and have been doing it since they were children, they don't have a life of their own. Everything they do is scripted or planned out or whatever, and they don't really have a lot of say in it. And I guess that's pretty much where I'm at with. I don't like Beyonce's music. There's a couple songs I like. I don't care for Oprah. I don't care for I don't listen to Britney Spears stuff. But I understand that all of them could have gone in different directions depending on something small. Like, Oprah had a shitty ass childhood. What if she'd had really loving parents? Would she have wanted to, go into a career of acting in front of the camera? Would she have been strong enough to handle all of the shit that she had to go through with the criticism of her weight and her race over and over again, just for decades? I don't know.
I feel like we're gonna, we could go totally clandestine now. This could become a discussion on life, religion, spirituality, all of this shit.
Oh yeah.
I'm a spiritual person, guys, to the point where I'm a nut. That's why I don't talk about it with a lot of people, because it's crazy. I am of the same thought that everyone does have a destiny, and then there's your fate. But everyone also has free fucking will. So I could be destined to be the president of the United States of America, but instead I'm out here saying all this crazy shit on podcasts and making these stupid ass tweets, that might be stopping that from ever happening. You still have a choice in this life about what you do. I do think, I get the vibe, and I could be wrong, I think Beyonce is very much in control of her career. I think she is in over control of her image. I think it is all intentional, this bland personality. I really do think her and Jay-Z are concerned about one thing and one thing only, and that is making money. And so I think that's why she has curated herself to the degree in which she's curated. I think that's why you don't see many interviews with her. Or when she did that Netflix thing, it was such a big deal, I think, because people really didn't know who the F this lady was.
How deep did it get? Because it's still on my watch list, and it's been on my watch. Oh, you haven't? Because it's been on watch list from as long as it's come out. Because I was like, you know what? I will give her props as far as how much work she puts in. She's a great damn entertainer. There's no way that I could get my ass up right now and do any of that. There's no way that I could get up right now and be on that diet that she was on. I wouldn't want to. I'd be like, oh, well, Coachella's going to get what they're going to get. You know what I'm saying? And so those are the things that I do respect. She obviously has a discipline and whatnot, but much to what you're saying, I think it's definitely all fabricated. It's so much control. And that's why people say they're like the Illuminati. I think that's where people, kind of get that idea because they seem so, everything seems so you do this, A plus B equals C, and that works for you. But for other people, it doesn't. I mean, if you look into Jay-Z, he has such a, you know what? I don't know if they are, but I do think that they're very much, Hillsong, which is, the biggest, non-denominational kind of church that celebrities are going to.
I know that one.
If you heard recently that Justin Bieber's pastor was just fired from Hillsong because they found out that he had an affair.
Oh.
His name is Carl Lentz. So it's a lot of celebrities are going for these kind of celebrity pastors now that are kind of evangelical, but not fully, because they're non-denominational. So I think that they kind of fall within that. That's, for appearance sakes, I think that's kind of who they follow. Okay. But I think overall they just, I believe in Christ was what they do. But if you go back and you do any kind of like research into Jay-Z's history, Jay-Z is not a nice person. And Jay-Z didn't do a lot of nice things throughout his coming up.
He's still not a nice person.
Right.
Yeah.
Not even
So
to Beyonce.
Yeah.
no. And I fully believe they sleep in separate wings of the house.
Oh.
Fully. Like not even separate wings of the house. Like they have to
Like
drive
Trump and
from one to
Melania,
the other. Yeah. Will and Jada.
Well,
They definitely, yeah.
see, that's a hard one though, because I mean they're at least they used to both identify as polyamorous, but in all of this, all of the issues that have been coming up seem to be everybody else's reaction to Will having feelings.
Well, you know what it is that they never came out and said it was always something that it was in the Black community that they were swingers or they were polyamorous. Like they never admitted and came out and said anything. They always danced around it and said that they had like a partnership that was built on this and love and blah, blah, blah. Now, if you're somebody that's a little more educated on the terms and reading between the lines, then you knew what that really was. I mean, because I knew.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah, because I knew from back in the day. Yeah, that's, you knew what it was. That's what this whole situation that's happened recently, the fact that I know that Will's an actor, but he's a damn good actor.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like he really didn't know the extent of that entanglement. So these are things that lead me to believe like they live on separate, like they, I could see Jada being like, I need my space.
Yeah, well, and they're both, up until the pandemic, really busy actors, both of them. Like she was in that TV show that you watch, one of the superhero ones. Jada Pinkett Smith. She was like a crime boss or something.
She with wasn't it the Batman one? Because it was with the guy from
the kid from
the OC was in it. Yeah.
Well, anyway,
she was
so she's always
Gotham.
Popping up and stuff. What
Gotham, right?
Yes, Gotham.
Yeah, she was in that.
Well, you watch all those things. I don't know which ones you don't.
They all run together.
They really do. And especially the ones that are on that one channel where they all cross CW, where they all cross over with each other. So he'll be watching something and I'll be like, is this show? No, it's this show. This guy from that show is on this one. And then I'm like, fuck.
Well, the one that I really liked was The Shield, and I got into it late. No, not The Shield. What was it?
Agents of Shield.
There you go. Boom. The Shield was hella long ago.
A little bit.
It's like the 90s. I don't even watch that show. Jeez. Michael Chiklis, shout out.
Yes!
Shout out.
Played the Thing in the superhero movie.
Yes. See, it all came together. My brain was getting there.
Your brain totally, it's scripted where it was going. Just the rest of us had to catch up a little bit.
And so did I. Like myself physically, my brain was like, I got this. You're tired? I got this. But yeah, so, our whole conversation now definitely kind of leads back to, this episode. The one thing I wanted to bring up, and I couldn't find a quote either, just because, like you guys were saying, there wasn't anything that I wanted to delve deep into other than just how fucking hilarious they both were.
Mm-hmm.
Like Charlie Murphy and why am I drawing a blank? 'Cause I'm tired. There you go.
Sammy L.
I was about to say it. I was about to say stakes on this motherfucking plane.
The man who needs to narrate my life if it ever gets made into a movie.
Oh my God, right? Oh my God. I want you to say fuck. I want you to
three words.
every three. But yeah, the fact that Maya Angelou was, and I think this was something that he was trying to hit on. They got Maya Angelou and they knew who she was. She was whooping his ass. That was hilarious.
Yes, I love
that. She
was
kicking his ass, but the fact that they both knew who she was and knew that she
still
was,
I rise.
Yeah. I was like, wait, and those one of her, writings, but then also knew that she was well respected, but didn't respect her. You know what I'm saying? The way that they tossed her out or whatnot, instead of being like, here, let's put you to the side, ma'am, and take off the tape.
I'm so sorry about that.
Yeah. So I think that, that was kind of a message that he was putting out there as well. Maybe we are respecting the wrong people. She actually provides something to our culture and to our history. Yet,
absolutely.
You guys are so worried about somebody that, made magazines and sells freaking, what is it? Weight Watchers. Well, she didn't do it back then. But
if you bring the whole idea up to current times, you've got influencers who are all over social media, touting all of this shit that might not be anything important, but yet they have all of this power just because of the nature of social media.
Yeah.
And whereas the people that maybe we should be listening to aren't necessarily the ones shouting on Instagram. So, yeah, that's
they don't do the posting incessantly. Yeah, it's and we don't go and look for the gems, I think, in our history or in our culture.
Yeah,
unless something tragic happens, you know what I'm saying? Then that's when everybody goes and looks up quotes, and then they want to try to quote this person. And it's like, have you ever read a book by him? Do you know who that is? Like, do you, so.
That's, so I think I talked before about this on this show. It might have been a different show, but my school is in the process of getting renamed after James Baldwin.
Yes,
and so up until the point when it was announced that this is what we were going to the school board with, nobody had said anything. And then suddenly the one right winger at our school was like, here's a specific quote against Catholics. You still like this guy? Oh, okay. Here's a specific quote against white people. Oh no, that's okay. Okay. Here's a specific quote again. Yeah, exactly. It literally was like picking and choosing little parts of speeches. And luckily, several of us know James Baldwin's work enough. In fact, our family support worker literally knew the quotes that he was pulling and what they were from, and would like go back and do the whole quote, and it was just beautiful.
Jesus Christ.
But it's that picking and choosing what works for your narrative.
I
get that.
Definitely. Wow.
So
I can't believe people that put in that much work to
right.
Like, really? Dude, like, really? Like, what did he personally do to you? What did like jeez. And other people want to stop other people's growth. Because they don't understand. And I think that's what's most frustrating too, is that they're able to do that people allow people, whether they do it consciously or subconsciously, you allow them to take your power and to take your opportunity and your ability to grow as a person and to learn. Because then you fall into their just idiocracy. That's really sad, but that's good that you had somebody to come back and be like, oh, really? This is what it was in full context.
Well, and especially
pick up your face.
Right. Especially because right directly across the street from our school is a Catholic church that signed off on this as a really great idea that they were excited about. And this person who is a Catholic, but yet doesn't like our new president-elect, even though he's a Catholic, because, I don't know, he's not really Catholic. He's actually just a white supremacist. But anyway, let's not go into one of the brownest schools in Seattle and having a right-wing teacher at it.
I'm sorry, Catholicism, and they don't have any leg to stand on if they want to point a finger. Like, anybody. That's what I'm saying. Like, if that church is involved, you know what I'm saying? Like, let it be what it is, because they obviously get like, we need to make some changes and be a little bit more involved before we stand and, try to point the finger. I mean, you have the Pope who's coming out and saying things that they're like, oh, what? You think it's okay,
I'm so not a Catholic, and I love this Pope. I am like, my mother at one point converted to Catholicism. I don't know how much she practices now. I know she believes in a lot of this stuff, but I've never been really religious at all. And this Pope almost gives me faith that at some point Christianity is actually going to come back to the original teachings, which really are kind of my core beliefs, because Jesus's teachings were essentially socialism.
Yeah.
And he led fucking riots and, beat up moneylenders and healed the sick and fed. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Right.
But, everything that he did without expectation of return. And that is not modern day Christianity. And in any form of its many different denominations now. But this Pope, he's paying attention and seeing that the world is changing and knows that Catholicism has to change with it or it will die.
Yep. Yeah. And I think in an attempt to make sure that people aren't lost or people just lose all complete, belief in any type of organized religion. And I think what he's trying to do is take that term away. I think he's trying to change organized religion to just being faith. You know, I think that's what he sees the need in. I like him. I feel like you could probably go up to him and be like, "What up?" And he would like give you dap and like, you know, like know the latest sayings or something like that. Like I really feel like he's very, very much in tune with who we are and who the world is in 2020 and not, you know, who the world was in freaking 1602.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, I definitely agree there. I wish more people, you know, would adopt that mindset. But once again, pick and choose to what works towards your narrative. So, you know, that's a wish that I don't know if that'll ever come to fruition, but we'll see. So
I don't want to change the subject too abruptly, but there's one other kind of part of, this series. And again, it was something like after watching it a bunch of times, Dean and I were almost arguing because every episode that has had Ed the Third and Remy, Gin Remy in it has been an allegory somehow for the United States and its, you know, over weaponization and gets away with everything. And you know, I think Dean is very, you know, very certain that this is a full on anti-capitalism. Like, look at these people with all this money getting away with all this bullshit. And I definitely agree that's there. But I wonder how much of that kind of back hidden stuff. I lost it again. That hidden stuff that, you know, we know that Magruder like slips into everything, right? And how, you know, he was so aware of everything going on that he would just everything had a point, right?
Yeah.
So I've been trying to figure out what exactly kind of the underlying U.S. message was there, and I kind of failed to like come to a conclusion on that. But it is funny to me that, and we'll talk about this in a second, but it's funny to me that the quote that I got out of this episode is more relevant to today than the last time this quote came up. But do you guys do you have any ideas of if there was anything underlying there? I know it just felt like kind of a fun episode for everybody. So
I think I kind of took away from it the whole white privilege, you know, that's very apparent, obviously. Bunster obviously has that white privilege. I mean, come on. Like, everybody in the town knows. I totally forgot that, like, the bank robbery was like...
And everybody in the bank. It wasn't just the people who worked there who knew who he was. Every single customer was like, oh, God, it's him. Okay.
Yeah.
What do you want us to do?
We came to the bank on the wrong day. This is when he's playing bank robber, you know? And the fact that you went to your grandfather's, you know, bank. I mean, obviously he owns the whole town, so everything is his. But just that it seemed like it's like cops and robbers, like their cute little grandkids came in and was like, hold it up. And everybody played along. Like, that's what it was. And
actually in their 30s now or something.
Yeah. So to me, the overall episode was definitely white privilege, you know, and it was, you can get away with anything. We're going to look the other way. The treatment from the cops. I mean, the cops came, oh, they're not going to mess with us. They don't know who and then here he comes. And you think this cop is going to do something and he hands him his freaking wallet because this idiot drops his wallet, you know, and he's so like he's his boss, you know, he's like, he reminds me of like a servant. Like, he's like, okay, thank you. You know, like, I think he actually like bowed at one point once he gave him, you know, his wallet. So that, I think that if it relates anything to today, that is 1000% very loudly what it said to me. Other than that, it was just an hilarious episode. So yeah.
Lynxi?
To me, the most standout moment, which maybe I should have submitted it for a clip, but it just didn't seem that important. But it's the moment that strikes me as the most potent in the episode is when Riley says, like, is calling them out, saying, like, you guys play too much. Like, I gotta get home.
Hold on a second. Play the clip, Dean.
Who's trying to stop you? Nobody ever tries to stop you.
Yes, they do.
No, they don't.
Hey, just because we don't know anyone trying to stop us don't mean ain't nobody out there trying to stop us. The absence of evidence is not the evidence of absence.
Seems to me like everyone just lets y'all do whatever you want. That's why y'all always get away.
We get away because I'm a criminal mastermind.
Whatever, nigga.
It's so funny.
Was that the one that you were talking about by any chance?
Absolutely. But I don't think the message, and I know you selected it so you can speak to it, but
go ahead.
I didn't think that the message was like, I don't think what I'm about to say is the message.
Yep.
Like, I kind of look at the Trump administration, right? And I sometimes think about like, what's going to happen when they get this right? What's going to happen when these assholes put someone who's actually smart at the helm of their sort of, elitist bullshit?
Yeah.
Like, these people are out here, they're like clowns. It's like a clown show. Like, even like what were we talking about before we started recording? Trump's lawyer saying like, the Nicaraguan dead dictator, like,
Venezuelan.
Oh, there you go. Like, had some kind of quote
Hugo Chavez.
Like,
that he had like
hell?
testified basically. Current events. Current events of somebody who died in 2013. So.
And it's just, I don't know. So to me, that was kind of the big thing. Like, these people have all this power and they can get away with murder, but instead they play these kiddie games. Maybe that's a cautionary tale for the rest of us. Like,
yeah, well, they're very infantile in their thought process, and so very much like Rummy and like it comes off like they're little kids playing a game, like it's like, today we're going to be the bank robbers. Tomorrow we'll be this. So it is very infantile in thought and nature. So I could see exactly, what you mean there, and how it relates to, the current office. He is such a child.
Yeah.
He's still coming out. I mean, he just got into it with somebody today and told somebody, "Don't you talk to me like that." I'd be like, "I'll talk to you like I want to." I'm a grown-ass person. Like, you're a joke for the president. Yes, you are president for how many more days? I wish that person would have challenged him back and said something like that. But you just like, you stop talking, you stop challenging him. And that's the problem. Nobody challenges somebody who should be challenged because they have the brain capacity of a freaking 2-year-old. Actually, I'm sorry, 2-year-olds. He doesn't I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I shouldn't even put that on 2-year-olds. He is much worse than that.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, so.
Yeah, 2-year-olds have object permanence.
Right. and they know when something's wrong. Like, they'll come and they'll give you a sloppy little wet kiss.
2-year-olds know empathy. Fuck you.
Yes. Yeah.
I think it would have. I think it would have been funny if it had been a response like Riley did at the end of that.
Right. Well, right.
So
whatever, nigga.
Whatever, nigga. That would have been beautiful. That's going to be the last question ever. Like, that has to happen. That's like Barack dropping the microphone at the end of the
right. Oh my God! Will somebody please that have access to that man?
Oof, yeah.
On his last few days, just be like, whatever, nigga. Just walk out. Just walk out. Oh my God, that would be the greatest thing ever.
So we neglected a little bit to talk about current events as of things that are happening today, December 1st, 2020. It's December. Fucking A. How the fuck is it December?
Already.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't know about you guys, but like, they're telling us that we're going to be in purple. I know, Lynxi, this this matters to you here in Cali. We're going to be in purple till probably February.
Yeah. I just canceled a trip that I've been like holding my breath on, hoping to that's not going to happen because I'm not even with all of the things that they're doing on Amtrak. I can't trust other people, even if I
Please don't.
Especially not traveling through country or areas of this state that are more red.
Where they're like mask, and they're like, let me breathe all over you. Yeah. Did you guys see the amount of people that actually traveled this past holiday weekend?
Yes, that
like
map.
that.
It was. I mean, obviously, it was the biggest travel day since the pandemic began. But I mean, I had so much trouble watching the news on Thursday because they kept showing like flight patterns and like how busy airports were and stuff. And all I could think of is that I'm going to be stuck in this goddamn house until July when I have access to the fucking vaccine, and I am so mad about it.
No, for real, because because before the airlines were like, okay, well, the middle seat will always be open. You know, we're going to skip and da-da-da. They didn't do that at all.
Yep.
They wanted their money. They're struggling. I don't know how the airlines are struggling. Give me a break.
But they're still buying shit that they don't need.
Yeah. They're struggling and shit. But yet, so they packed every single plane just like they do when everything's cool. You know, like they were sending everybody to spring break or something. They're like, come on in.
There were less international travel, probably because nobody wants a U.S. citizen right now.
Yeah. Yeah, because you don't have to go anywhere in quarantine for freaking 14 days out of your vacation. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that was alarming to me. And then, you know, there were certain celebrities that had big parties and stuff.
Them.
Yeah.
There's that influencer thing again, like paying attention to the wrong people. Oh, I see... what's her fucking name? Kim Kardashian's birthday party where 50 people were on an island together, and that looks like so much fun. I can hang out with my 3 best friends and it won't be a problem. No, she's got fucking money. And
look, I you know, hers is less severe than the concerts that were held this past weekend. There's a rap group called the City Girls. They hold a concert where it was Little Baby. Like, look, if I should send you the link, there was thousands.
Oh my God.
Thousands of people. Lil Wayne had his daughter threw her 22nd. Bitch, 22nd. When I saw that, I was like, it's not even the 21st or 25th. Right. Who cares about your 22nd birthday? And it was packed with celebrities, with just regular people. All took place within that like 5 days that we'll say is the holiday weekend. So we give us 10 days and these numbers are going to skyrocket and people are going to go, why? Like,
well, in fact, anybody who got infected on Thanksgiving, there is the possibility that they're going to start showing symptoms anytime now. Like by the time this episode airs, there will have been more than enough time for those spikes from Thanksgiving to show up.
1,000%, because they say anywhere from 4 to 10 days or something like that now.
Now? This is the 4th day.
Yeah, so I hope you guys had a good old time listening to the baby. Right? I hope you had a good old, or not the baby, Lil Baby, because I like the baby. The baby didn't do that. A little bit.
That's what we were talking about the other day, wasn't it? We were trying to remember the name of some Lil rapper, and there were a bunch of like.
There's Little Pimp.
I think the one that just died, which I think was it Lil Prime or something like that?
Oh, somebody that got shot today. Was it today?
No, it was like a week.
Was it over?
Oh God. There was Mo 3, Puff Smoke, but that was a while ago. Like if we want to go over the whole year, there's been a lot, unfortunately. King Von.
It was a little. I can't remember which one it was.
Well, there's so many littles. Who knows? Right. I don't understand why they don't put any effort into their name choices, but
yeah, there's like 5 billion Lils and Littles and Bigs,
and only 2 of them are good.
And rapper Lil Yase, Yase. I don't know if that's supposed to be Yase.
Look, you're telling me something new.
Shot dead in the San Francisco area.
That's your area.
But there. I don't know I don't think that was the name that I remember saying because
it's another Lil though.
3 days ago, let's see.
Yeah, you were talking to Evan about it on Sunday.
Maybe that's what it was.
Wow.
I just couldn't. There's so many. There's Lil Pump and.
Yeah, we can forget about him because he's not really a rapper. But Lil Pimp.
Oh God, he's so horrible. He is so. Lil Peep.
Lil Peep, I remember. Yeah.
He died at 21.
That was a while ago.
That one, yeah.
He was one of the. He died a while ago off of overdose.
That guy. Yeah, that guy.
Dallas rapper named Lil Loaded.
Fuck off.
Oh, Lord.
Come on. Lord. Okay, I'm gonna say something that will make me sound terrible, but I absolutely have to say it. One of the biggest reasons why I couldn't listen to black music growing up was because of shit like that. Like, they didn't all have Lil names, but it just was so fucking ridiculous, and it didn't feel like they took themselves seriously. It was always MC this, MC that, and never any originality. And I feel like that same thing has gotten worse now. Like, there were a lot of great musicians back then. Don't get me wrong, but
yeah, I think for like our time when we were,
when we were growing up.
But yeah, no, I mean, we just it was still growing, and like the outside world was so divisive in what they tried to like put certain rappers under, it was gangster rap. And it's like, well, I'm not really talking about anything gangster. Like, they're not really gangsters, but okay. But just because they talk about like their truth and how they grew up, then all of a sudden you want to put them in that. Then we had like the MC Hammers and like the performance rappers, you know what I'm saying? And then,
well, everybody
was put into like a funnel.
Yeah. There were a whole lot of DJs that were MC. I can't think of a lot of them
Master of Ceremony, so that's why they chose that. That's like that comes from when rap first started in the 70s. So they were like Master of Ceremonies. But we definitely did have a lot of one-hit wonders.
Mm-hmm. And I'm talking strictly like late 80s, early 90s when I was like heavily influenced by what society thought of Black music. Mm-hmm. So...
Well, yeah, when they were getting these horrible 360 deals and shit like that. I mean... Yeah, when people were just being brought in, and I mean, Vanilla Ice could be thrown into that as well.
Yes, absolutely.
So, yeah.
I mean, and you mentioned MC Hammer. That's the exact same time when he was the most popular. Like, You Can't Touch This came out right around the same time as Ice Ice Baby.
Yeah, about the same time. And my husband goes, "You had that tape?" And I go, "I did."
Yeah.
And I loved some,
had that
Vanilla
tape.
Ice. And how I'm kind of embarrassed, but I'm not to admit that now. To find out who he is now is kind of like, oh God, I can't believe I ever supported you. But everybody changes. He was 20 something at that time. Like,
wait, are we talking about Vanilla Ice?
Yeah.
What did he do besides like be a carpenter now?
Well, he's very Kid Rocky. So he's I didn't know that. He's very on the undercover. Like, I'm a Trumper.
Ew, never mind then.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I will stop ironically singing that song.
Yeah, that's why. Yeah, so that's why I'm like, he did definitely do. He's done reality shows and he slips back into the Vanilla Ice role. But I've seen him on like his HGTV. I've seen him on other things, and who he truly is comes out. And then he was a Kid Rock. Like, Kid Rock has all the right to say what he says about the president. Kind of supporter. And then in a roundabout way, he just allowed us to see that you were as well, that, you're a Trump supporter too. So, which is funny because Trump, you are not rich. You are not the type of white person that Trump likes. So that's what's always amazing to me.
Very, very few white people are people that Trump likes.
Yep. And
it's only white people.
I don't know. Yeah. So would Trump like Onceler? I mean, he definitely wouldn't, gin rummy, but would he like tolerate, I wonder, Onceler just because of his family money?
Yeah. Those are the kind of people that Trump would like hang out with in the 80s. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
He would have, he was pictured with Leona Hemsley, who I talked about earlier. No, actually, it wasn't on the podcast. That was before. When we were trying to think of like rich people who ended up finally getting caught and put in prison for something, it was usually like tax evasion.
That's the lady that had like all the shoes, right? Like, I only remember her from
that was Imelda Marcos. That was
okay.
Yeah, Leona Helmsley was. God, what was it?
I never knew who she actually was. I just remember hearing jokes about
the
her.
death of her husband or something. God, it was so long ago.
Lynxi, have you ever heard of her? Like, I've heard of her name, but did you like ever know?
She's a businesswoman.
No, I have no idea. I know it sounds familiar, but I am clueless.
So Lynxi would probably be the one that I would think would know her because she's from New York. She was called the Queen of Mean. I love this. Her flamboyant personality and reputation for tyrannical behavior earned her the nickname Queen of Mean. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, apparently
she was like was she Filipino, like a little lady, or
no? This one's white lady. Like, she looks like
I have
she looks like a typical 80s like Christian woman with the nice hair and the little suit dress.
Oh, and she was found and she did something dirty.
Yeah, I think that was a tax evasion one as well. But anyway,
of course,
super
80s,
rich, super rude.
Thank you.
And so that was the connection there.
Oh, okay.
Real estate and hotels. So she was somebody that Trump hung around with a lot with his family in real estate.
Okay. Why do they have her place of burial on Google?
Because, like a lot of things in the 80s, she's actually seen as a martyr to capitalism.
Wow.
Yep.
That's crazy. Like, I don't think I've ever seen any other Sleepy Hollow cemetery.
I mean,
she's in Sleepy Hollow. Somebody did that on purpose. Put her in Sleepy Hollow. That's funny to me. I don't think I've ever seen anybody's place of burial on Google though. When you've looked them up, if they are deceased, I don't think I've ever seen that before. But looking at her picture, I vaguely remember seeing her picture when I was younger. But
so
this
that's
was
the kind of people that he hung out with back then. That's exactly who he is today. Those are the only people that he would have been okay with. So
that's why he probably feels lonely.
Onceler would have been like
I'm so lonely when he's by himself.
Oh yeah,
because there's there's a good group of people that are still idiots like you that are horrible business people, but it's probably like far and few between. So he probably feels very lonely.
I actually like even in New York society, like Donald Trump is just known to be a joke. Like even back in the 80s and 90s, he was known to be like a character, a clown. So.
Because you're respected when you use your parents' money and you're still doing something with it and you're making money. But you can't be respected when you are shitting it off or you are the worst business person ever. So I always think of, because my only experience is Gossip Girl, to the Upper East Side or to the socialite. And I said that like it's a real thing. My only experience is with Dan and Serena. No. So my only experience is that. And I know there's some truth to it. So I would think that, you know what I'm saying? You don't mess with people that are failures and what you hold yourself to be such a success in.
I was actually just writing down, because I didn't want to forget this, but we were talking about Onceler and would he like Trump? I think Trump would idolize Onceler because he is a successful businessman who has all this money. And Onceler would probably think Trump was such a fucking idiot because he can't make anything work.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He'd probably want to kick it with Freeman.
Like steaks.
He'd want to go kick it with Grandpa before he kick it with Trump.
Yeah.
Like I could see him. Yeah.
Like they would socialize in like the tea party kind of way or in like business luncheon kind of way, but never on never Sunday dinner. That is not something that would happen.
No, he wouldn't get offered cheese.
No. Yeah. Or soul food.
Yeah. So I love how we keep hearing booty, butt cheeks as well. I did want to say that. I did want to say I did start twerking when they got in the car and they played that today. I did twerk a little bit. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, and Thug and Love was in this one too, right? Wasn't it on the radio at the bank or something?
Yeah.
So I love the throwbacks to that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Is there anything else anyone
with soundtrack?
Anything else anyone wants to touch on in this before we move into our white people question of the night?
One thing I didn't want to touch upon is the role that Riley played in everything in this episode. Yeah. And how you've talked about and how Lindsay's talked about before, like how he just manifests, that lifestyle and how to him it's a game, and
he idolized them because
he idolized
because he thought
but how
were
he was the brains. Like he was completely the brains in everything.
Yeah.
I also like how Huey whooped his ass. Huey was like,
"Oh my god, Huey is athletic as fuck." Like they were both fighting, but Huey took some lessons. He didn't just read the comic books and watch the kung fu movies. He like knew how to use that sword very carefully as to not cut his brother's head off, even though he cut the chair twice.
Yes, right. It was very Kill Bill-ish.
That there was this is the first episode where Huey smiled, which is one tidbit. Oh, and that reminds me. And
really, now you're making me want to go back and watch it again. Like really,
so
I didn't even notice that.
Easter egg time. We stopped the video when he went to get the glove out of the lockbox. And the code for it was 67291. And we probably spent, 30 minutes trying to break that code and figure out it's got to be something important. Magruder doesn't do anything by accident.
The way that they zoomed in on it, I thought that too. Yeah.
So what we found and what absolutely feels like the right thing, instead of saying 67291, it's 67 to 91. And those are the years that Thurgood Marshall was on the Supreme Court. Right?
Oh my gosh.
Clever.
Look at you. That is definitely, yeah. Oh my God. Aaron Magruder is so fucking great. Right? Like I thought about it. I was like, what is that? That means something. They wouldn't show him typing that in.
Exactly.
If it didn't mean anything. First
of all, is it a civil rights thing? Is it a
That's pretty cool. Yeah, you guys should submit that. There has to be something quiz, some trivia you guys can submit that to. That's really good. No,
absolutely.
Damn. That's damn good. I like that. And that probably is absolutely 1000% it.
That's the only thing we could find that referenced that made any sense whatsoever. There was only like one civil rights case, but it literally was not, it was 2016, so it could not have been the one he was referencing.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was the only thing made sense.
Yeah, I want that fist though. Like I want that.
Hell yeah.
It also says a lot to how he said, I just learned on the internet. Like this was internet back in the day.
Yeah.
So imagine if somebody wanted to create one of those as the internet today. Like that shit would do a whole lot more. The access to the information. But he is a genius 10-year-old, I'll tell you.
Absolutely.
Genius. But yeah, so I just wanted to, that was the thing I thought about when I was watching, and I kept hearing both of your voices in my head, like, what was Riley? What was his meaning of, being in this role? Or, how was it a detriment or to him, or is it a lesson learned?
Well, I mean, he started the episode still completely like enamored of them and thinking that they're these great things. And by the end, he was like, y'all are playing, I'm done. Like he was just over it.
Yeah.
And now for me, the question was, is he over it because he's bored because they're fake and not what he's expecting? Or like Dean said, is it that childhood, you're not getting any, you said.
Yeah, it's that he's, there's no risk.
Yeah, and the not having risk is not fun for Riley.
True. Unfortunately, what Riley needs to realize is that you're the black kid out of two very privileged white men. If somebody wanted to point a finger, could unfortunately be pointed at you. You know,
knowing what happens later with Riley and his little endeavors.
Yes.
He's all about risk. So he wants to be known as the gangster. I mean, when he was at that party, he was basically wearing a Tony Montana outfit.
That's right.
Yes. Yeah, that whenever they're involved, it's very funny because they hang around him like they're his age. Like he's playing, PS2 and it's like, or PlayStation, and it's like, it reminded me of like, my sons and playing and a friend coming over. Like that's what it completely reminded me of. Well, I also liked how he couldn't swim. I think that definitely had something to say about black people not being able to swim in a way that he acts so black that he, what I'm saying? That he couldn't swim because wasn't he in the military? So by you have to be able to swim, right?
Yeah,
like,
you have to be able to keep yourself above water. That's what you.
And he couldn't do that.
He had
he had on floaties, didn't he?
He had his floaties on.
Because I always thought that was a joke. But when I was in the service and we went to go do that, and we all went down to the post pool, there was lots of black guys who were really scared about doing that.
So they don't make sure that you can swim before you get in the service?
Oh no, no, they don't care.
Okay.
They're like, you have one eye. Come on in. We don't care. No.
I mean, maybe for the Navy that might be, but yeah, not for the Army.
Or the Coast Guard. I would think the Coast Guard, that would be a requirement.
And he said that they literally just threw him in. They threw him in the water and they said, figure it out, kid. And he had to do that a couple of times until he could kind of swim, or at least,
Because basically what they were teaching us was really to keep above water, and like if we're in deep water, basically
tread.
You would take your pants off, you would tie the ankles up,
water,
and then flip it over your head to fill it with air and use that as a flotation device.
That's smart, actually. Yeah.
My nephew taught me that. My nephew's in the Marines, and when he got into the Special Forces, and so he's like doing some COVID like secret stuff. But he was telling me about how they dumped them in the middle of the ocean when he was in Hawaii. And at night, and they had to do like with partners, they had to do like a, kind of like a rescue kind of scenario. And he ended up seeing the biggest stingray ever. He said it was like bigger than him and his arm length. And he left his partner. And swam away because his partner was diving deep. Like what they had to do was dive hella deep or whatever and come back up. And he left him. I was like, I don't think that's what the exercise was. But when he explained how big this freaking stingray was, I was like, dude, I probably would have left too. And at night. So it was pretty crazy. But
I have to admit, I didn't know stingrays were dangerous until Steve Irwin was killed by one.
Yeah, well, they don't generally fuck with you unless you're fucking with them.
I know.
So I thought Steve Irwin, was it by Stingray?
Yeah.
I thought it was by something way
Through the
more deadly,
heart.
like a freaking tiger.
Through the heart.
Like,
Its tail
I'm
is
about
a
to laugh that
spike.
he passed, but wow.
Its tail
I
is
don't
a
think I'm-
spike. Yeah. And it
That's
literally like
crazy.
went through his heart.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I do love how his daughter and his son are so like
Bindi
his
Sue.
son looks just like him.
Oh, yeah.
They are the happiest people about some animals, let me
They're
tell you.
so sweet.
Good Lord.
I mean,
They are
during
unfortunately,
the during the fires earlier this year in Australia, because that was
Yeah.
this year. How the
Yeah.
fuck is that still this year? But anyway,
I know, right?
like
I
that
know.
was they were all over, trying to raise money to help
Yeah.
save. Like they had rescued so many koalas that were burned and
Yeah.
were like trying to patch them up. And
Imperative. And I love how the daughter married like a zoo worker.
yeah,
And he's like, it's so cute. They're really cute. I love to hear Bindi talk and stuff.
I
I'm
mean-
like,
I
I can't believe
that's
I'm
a
old enough to
dynasty
see
I'm
her.
okay paying attention to.
that name though sounds like it could be a porn name.
No,
Bindi.
Bindi Sue,
I'm Bindi.
Bindi Sue. I'm gonna smack him later. You're gonna like it though.
Look, you see how hard I'm laughing? Because that is my mindset. I definitely thought of that before. I love it. Bindi Lapure or like something like that. Like,
I'm very Bindi.
Oh God! all right, white guy.
we've lost a whole bunch of people that are going to like us after this episode. Beyonce fans, J-Lo
This
fans.
is the most random episode, but yet wasn't that we've ever had.
Right?
Like we didn't do our normal
Yeah.
format, but it still works.
It's all good.
You know, because this episode was pretty random, so it fits. It fits.
It was. It didn't fit well in the like advancing the storyline, other than seeing Riley kind of get tired of his heroes.
Yeah. And Huey whoop his ass twice.
Yes.
I loved how
He's
he was
still-
dragging him away. Like, it was like he was whooping him like he was his child. How'd you dare
Kidnap
do that?
Oprah.
That was, yeah. that was funny. It should have been Maya Angelou. Kidnap
Right.
Oprah all day.
Right?
You know.
But
But
it is
yes.
funny that actually is really funny that Huey's like, that's how he figured it. He's like, so somebody kidnapped Maya Angelou,
Mm-hmm.
and right across the street was Oprah. Now I'm wondering who would kidnap Maya Angelou?
Right. And Riley just fell right into it. Like, he thinks he's smarter, but he just fell right
Ain't nobody
into it. You know?
gonna kidnap Oprah.
Yeah. Oh, so funny. Oh my God. I'm surprised this is one of the episodes that like they're never able to show. Like Tyler Perry, he cried and stumped his feet.
Right.
And so the what episode regarding Tyler Perry will never be seen, which I think is bullshit. We should cover it anyway. Can we see it anywhere?
Yeah, hell yeah. If we can, whatever we can find, because that's not the only one that's controversial.
Yeah. That's crazy. That's crazy that you would take your time out of your day when you're a millionaire to then go, I don't want this ever shown, or to try to get it like, so you're only proving his point. Like you just made Aaron Magruder go, well, not just, but you just made him go, pat myself on the back. Like, I did that. And I do like Tyler Perry though, but like I'm one of those people that I will watch his movies even though I know it was made in 3 days. And, you know, I will point out all the things that are wrong about it, but I'll watch it and support. They're not that bad. Some of them are, but most part they're pretty funny. I'm sweating like a pig right now.
Alrighty, white people.
Oh.
What does the white people got to
Hey,
say?
white people.
Hey, white people. Yeah, and when the granddad just, taking Riley's side
Yeah, that was funny.
because of how much he loves Ed Wunsler.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
yeah.
Because he was so like, oh, that did happen, didn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Then he goes, quit being a hater, be home by dinner. You know?
you can go, and he can go, you can go play with Ed and Rummy. That's what
Yeah.
he said. And
Play with
them
grown
like
men.
children
and the,
too,
and,
yeah.
and the end part with Ed and Rummy, he goes, when Rummy is like, it's just 4:00. We can write the ransom note together. So it's totally
we can still kidnap Bill Cosby.
right. Yeah.
Okay.
They see they do see themselves as children.
Yeah.
So I do think that's hilarious that they kidnapped Bill Cosby and brought him back 15 minutes later because he was
Look
annoying.
at you busting in with the big boots and the guns.
That was funny. And so Aaron Magruder was definitely like letting us know a little bit about what everybody else in Hollywood was whispering about,
Insufferable
at this
bore.
time.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
crazy.
Yes.
so anyway,
Yes.
so anyway,
favorite subject.
You hear similar sentiments to this from time to time. So I follow/support Black Lives Matter on social media. That makes me an ally, right?
When I saw that question, I was like, oh my God, my favorite subject, performative allyship.
Yeah.
I'm doing this so people like me and think I'm a good person instead of doing it because I think it's the right thing. That's what you sound like.
Yeah, that is when you have to ask questions. That is definitely what it comes off as. If you do it without any need for positive reinforcement from others, or from others like patting you on your back, or from your tweet being retweeted by Sean King, just because that's the only name that came to my head. Okay,
that was.
But
perfect.
I'm just saying, like,
that is
without
a perfect
you getting
example.
the shine, without you getting the shine, then you can feel like you're doing something.
Yeah,
if that's the level that you're at, and that's your level of understanding, then it's appreciated. But when it's done for falsehoods, like as T said, because I want to be within the Black Twitter, feed, or, my Black friend who's married to my white friend, I want to make them feel comfortable when we go on our vacation later this year. When you're doing it for a because following, then no, it's not okay. But when you're doing it because out of the kindness of your heart, and you feel like that's your only option right now, or you don't know that there's any other option, and you feel like that's your best option, yeah, it's appreciated. But
like that's a lot of my friends a lot of my white friends, when it comes to things like Black Lives Matter, most of them do not think that just supporting on social media is allyship in any way.
It's good, yeah.
Of course, I am friends with a lot of, anarcho-socialists like myself, or versions of democratic socialism. Pretty much if you're on the left, we can hang, because if you're on the center, that's actually the right. And anyway.
Yeah.
So I've stopped actually even commenting back and forth with people on things, because I let my white friends do that for me now, because it took them a long time to get where they are, where I feel like, okay, they've educated themselves. I feel completely comfortable with them representing my voice. That's actual allyship, when they are standing up so that a Black person doesn't have to, or they're standing up so that a trans person or a gay person doesn't have to. That's what an ally is.
Yeah, when they don't have to white explain, or trans. Yeah, when you don't have to just explain. No, I definitely agree with that. What about you, Miss Lynxi? Because she always comes with the truth. Like, I love you guys, but
right. Well, my take on it is this: if you follow Black Lives Matter on social media, that just means you follow Black Lives Matter on social media. It doesn't mean you support Black Lives Matter. It doesn't mean you don't support Black Lives Matter. It means it's a follow. Nothing more and nothing less. There are a lot of people who did not support Donald Trump, but they sure as hell did follow him on social media just to watch the shit show, or for commentary, or for work. It just doesn't mean anything. Like, allyship, I'm not even a fan of allyship as a term or a word, but I understand the sentiment is more than whatever semantics I want to apply to it. Allyship, if you were really an ally to something, to me, it just means like I view you as an equal, and I want you to have every right that everyone else fucking has, and that's it. So if you would get pissed off that someone is denying your child the right to vote, then you should feel that same way about a transgender person or a Black person or whatever. And do exactly what you would do if your child's rights were being kind of disenfranchised. And that's it, y'all. It's not hard.
I agree.
It's not a follow.
You're right. It's not hard.
Yep. Look,
we
ABC
said
equals C. There you go.
We said before, at kind of the height of this summer's riots and stuff, that not everybody can actually like get out there and march and fight like physically, but just liking something on Facebook or following something on Twitter does not make you a supporter of the cause.
Yeah. And because social media has become such a platform where we do that, we show our like and we show our allegiance to things through likes and through reposting. People think that that's the norm for being able to show support. Yeah. So you guys both bring up really good points. Like, the social media is not the end all be all of showing that you are a human being who respects other lives. Let's just say that social media does not equivalent to like you being a person that cares about the lives and the quality of lives and the livelihood of others. Doesn't equate. You got to do a little bit more than that.
Totally. I will say too, though, I don't want to shit on people who do say like, hey, I'm going to go follow this account so it can grow. Like, kudos to you. Great. Awesome.
Yeah.
But I do feel like even for people who maybe can't march or people who aren't out here having Twitter fights or personal fights, don't feel bad about it. If you support it in your heart, awesome. There will come a time when you are called to the carpet or called to stand up, as Tiara said. And at that moment, you'll know if you're an ally. And that's that.
Yeah.
And I'll say this, monetary support, different.
Yep.
Like, let's say you are, you're donating to organizations that viably go back to helping, the communities that you want to help. That's good. Do that. Like, what I'm saying? But don't then repost that you just went and donated to X, Y, and Z.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because how you can share everything from every website now. So you can share everything that you do. It immediately will share to your Facebook profile or whatever else. So just do that without needing, without needing your hoorahs and your pats on the back and your applause.
Validation.
Validation.
Yeah.
A really good example of that in the Seattle area. I'm not going to name names because she did not make this public, but someone that I know who's a published author, when everything was going on in town, she was literally posting bail for any protester that she could get in contact with. She was driving down to pick up people who were getting out of jail like the next morning and stuff. Like, she couldn't go down there and do it herself. She has a small child. COVID's going on. She's got health issues, but she helped in the way that she could. So like, just, it's almost like just having money doesn't necessarily make you terrible.
Right. Yeah.
But
because you can do some things that others can't do when you do have that money and you have disposable income. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so people like that, like there are a bunch of celebrities out there that obviously like made sure that people knew that they were doing stuff throughout the last few months.
Oh, yeah.
But there are also people like John Cusack who would just walk past voter lines and pass out donuts to anybody who wanted one. Or people passing out water or food to people in food lines. And shit, can we talk about the miles upon miles upon miles of food lines in places like Texas right now?
Oh
because
my gosh.
This whole thing is fucking devastating to so many people. And yet we are stuck still with a government that, at least for the next, 30, 40, 51 days, 50 days, something like that.
Yeah.
Like, we still have that government that's not going to do shit.
Nothing.
Mitch McConnell
And
saying that he's not going to listen to anything that the other side brings forward. So therefore, everyone who's complaining about like, oh, the Democrats and the Republicans aren't meeting together. No, it's literally the leader of the Senate isn't letting it happen.
Yes. Yeah. And it's 13 days or less before they go on recess. So it's like they have to try to do all these things in that time. And it's not the top of the board like it should be. Right. It should be the very top of, their list. And it's not. And like you said, I mean, Texas is one of the places where they had those couple of parties this weekend. Things are just going to increase. Atlanta.
And the world is
I don't know
fire.
what is going on in Atlanta or Georgia. I don't know what makes them think that they're immune to it. I don't know what, but Atlanta, Georgia, they are kicking it like they don't know what else is going on in the rest of the country. So it is very devastating. It's devastating that, I don't know if you guys remember Van Lathan, who used to be on TMZ, who was the one that like got into Kanye's ass when Kanye said that slavery was an option.
Yeah.
And then he got fired and whatnot. Now he's very much like this. That was his journey. Now that's somebody that was purposed to do what he's doing now because he's doing it on his own. But he's speaking now, and he was saying how after Katrina, how when you're hungry, you're able to just go to Walmart and get some food. But what happens when there's no food because of a natural disaster or because of something like the pandemic? So then what are people supposed to do? And I was like, shit, that's pretty deep. Like we knew that things were bad, but to think that you can't go and get food when you want it. Yeah. And that's what's happening now. I mean, we had a friend tell us the other day to invest or to purchase some freeze-dried food. Yeah. To like, he gave us the name of this organization. Pretty much. He's like, you can get, freeze dried food that'll last you, he goes, you get 1 pack he was telling us about. He goes, and it'll last you and your family 2 months. And I'm like, wow, are there people really preparing like that or preparing? Yeah. He's an older white man. He's ex-cop. He's probably in about 60s. maybe closer, yeah, probably around 60s. But he's the one that kind of tells us the other side, or, you know, or gives a suggestion based on the other side in that view. And that really, like, I drove away from talking to him and I was like, do we really need to start preparing like that? You know, like,
yeah, I keep going back and forth on the idea of that. But like the little bit of news I watched today, they were interviewing people in that food line. And it wasn't things like, you know, like interviewing, like, did you vote for Trump? How do you feel about blah, blah, blah? It's literally, if this food bank was not here, would you be able to put food on your table tonight? And it would be like middle class, older women with tears coming down their face saying,
That's
no,
sad.
and this has never happened in my life.
that's sad.
There are
That's
millions
what's happening,
of people who are starving in this country now. It's not just the houseless population. It's literally people who haven't had a paycheck since March and the government gave them $1,200 to live.
Yeah. And then it won't give any more.
Right.
Yeah. I know, Lynxi, are you seeing, I know here in Sacramento, we have like 2 or 3 areas that you can get, you know, the food, you know, food kitchens and things like that from. And you're in an area that is so much more, you know, it's spread out and you have so many people to service. I would feel confident in saying you're probably not seeing too many of those in Walnut Creek,
Right.
Pleasanton,
Yeah.
Pleasant Hill area. Yeah. You probably don't see too many. People are probably going about business like regular out there. I would
Absolutely.
imagine.
Honestly, in
Yeah.
this suburb, it's like nothing ever happened. I don't really leave the house much, to be fair. I'm immunocompromised as well, so I kind of just stay in here. But
Yeah.
like my husband goes out to just do little errands, and he's like, "There's so many people at the park. There's so many people out running. Like life is no different here." But I mean, I'm sure it'll hit eventually. It's, you know, an affluent.
It has
place
to
be.
because they were the ones that had the bigger, you know, holiday dinners.
Mhm.
They were the ones who probably went and traveled, you know, and got on planes and did all that, you know, this weekend. So
'Cause it
yeah, I
hadn't
mean,
hit them.
yeah.
It hadn't
Well,
touched
just
their
like
lives.
when an epidemic, like, you know, drugs, it wasn't a big deal until it started hitting the white communities.
Yeah.
When the opioid epidemic happened, it became an epidemic because it was hitting the white
Mhm.
communities and those upper middle class families. So once it hits there, then maybe people will start wearing masks and, you know, stop complaining about not being able to go to the beach and shit like that. So,
Well,
Yeah.
on that cheery note,
right?
man,
That's our 2020.
I love talking to you guys. Like all three of us ahead of time we were already talking, obviously, but but we were
Right.
talking about like just how tired we were and how
Yeah.
you know, like but like
I
now
have
I
energy
feel
now.
like I just drank an energy drink hanging out with you guys. Like it feels good. I
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah. I was just thinking, I was like, what am I going to do after this? It's only 9:05. And I was dead tired. Like, you guys, I have no
Right.
makeup on. Where have you seen me with no makeup? I look a hot mess.
Don't.
I'm in pajamas.
You don't look like a hot
Like-
mess, but I will
Exactly.
say I put on a bra because you always look so tops. I was like, I don't wear
You-
makeup.
You,
really.
leave the mess part off.
Yeah, you're hot. Yeah, leave it.
I overlook it. So I always tell hubby, though, sometimes I have a bra on. I just make sure that he crops it right where nobody can see. So next time, let him go, girl. Let him go. When you're at home, bras at home make no sense. Bras at home.
I mean, I wear a sports bra most of the time now, or because, you know, I work from bed lately.
Yeah, right? At least you can then say, like, I'm partially dressed when you have a sports bra on. Like, you
Yeah,
can just throw on some
yeah.
pants and you're kind of dressed.
Well,
Yeah.
nah.
I've never been
What I
naked so
really-
much as I am this year.
What I really wear every day is leggings and a hoodie because why do anything else?
Yeah. I went to the optometrist today and she's like, oh my God, I love your hoodie. And I was like, really? Because my outfit is so not cute. And I knew it and I did not care. I was comfy. I had on tennis shoes and like jogging pants and a hoodie and I was good with it. But yeah, so, well, yes, ladies, it is always a blessing. We already had our great white people question.
Yeah. So anyway, it is yeah, god damn. This episode will be coming out on theoretically on Saturday. Sorry for the late episode this last week, but I mean, it was Thanksgiving and
Yeah.
it was I think we recorded a day late and then it was Thanksgiving, so then it just kind of compounded on each other. But it is out, and this one will be out hopefully on time as we get closer and closer to the end of the year, as if a calendar will change anything. But
coming up so quickly, guys. We're gonna really be talking about New Year's.
I'm ready. I'm ready for it. I get to go up and see my sister's kids the weekend after New Year's. I'm ready.
Nice.
Let's do it.
This time last year, we were on right the 2 days after Christmas, we got on a cruise to Jamaica. Oh. And I so wish that that's other than the whole virus.
Right.
I so wish that we were able to just go be in the middle of the ocean for 7 days.
Heavenly. With no lights in the sky, with all the stars. Okay.
Yes.
Anyway.
Oh my God. So beautiful.
I daydream about just sitting by an ocean somewhere.
It's so nice. It's kind of creepy the first time you go outside and you see nothing. But then all you see are all the stars that you've ever seen in your life. And then after a day or so, it gets actually very comforting.
Yeah.
But you stay away from the edge of the railing, that's for sure.
I wonder if the cruise industry is going to come back from all of this. They tried and immediately had cases break out on the boat.
They're going to have to merge. I think they're going to have to merge. Some of the biggest ones are going to have to. I think there's only going to probably come out to be 2 or 3.
Are we ever going to get to the point where people are actually trusting it again, though? It took a long time for them to come back from all of the foodborne illnesses that kept happening and the sewage issues that they had. And it's
and the captain's jumping ship when he, crashed into something or all those things. Yeah, I think if they do, it's going to have to be Carnival is going to be this, your basic. Then it's going to be Norwegian's going to be your mid-level, and then it's going to be one other that's going to be the top, and that's it. I think that's the only way they're going to be able to do it. But
go back to the 80s.
I would get back on one, but no time soon. Let's say about 2024.
Maybe that. Yeah. By then, hopefully, 3/4 of the world or more has been vaccinated.
You should have seen the way hubby just looked at me. He just looked at me have fun.
Dean's the same way. Maybe that'll have to be a girls' cruise in a few years.
Yes. They can meet us there.
On that note, I hope everybody has a fantastic week, and we will see you again soon.
Don't take this the wrong way, but I need you to get the hell up out of here.
Hey, thanks for joining us again as we make our way through the trials and tribulations of the Freeman family. We hope to see you back again next week for Riley Was Here.
Want to know where to find us on the social medias or where to subscribe to the podcast? Just head right over to www.theboondockspod.com/links.
Have a stupid white people question you want to leave us? Email us at host@theboondockspod.com or leave us a voicemail at 760-933-8636. That's 760-we-3-undo.
Shout out to the artists who've created our intro and outro tunes. Our intro is #MakeAChange by KIRK. You can find them on Spotify, iTunes, and Tidal. Our outro is Good Times by Audio Binger. You can find them on freemusicarchive.org and YouTube.